What's up guys, welcome to Roma Theory. It's time, it's our seasonal appointment. Here are my Serie A 2025-2026 predictions. Get your snacks, get your drinks, and I want you to do two things. Hit the like and let me know in the comments your predictions. I'm very curious to see where you put Roma, who's going down, who's winning the league, who's getting European spots, all of it today. I've got my notes ready. It's going to take some time, so I say we start immediately. Without further ado, starting with last position, 20th position, first team to go down. I'm going with Cremonese. I think they're clearly the weakest, not only on a logical point of view, because they're the team that got promoted through the playoffs in the Serie B last season. So logically and mathematically, they're the weakest. They've added a few players, they've added a few bits. I think Golini in goal, if I'm not wrong, from us. The likes of Bondo from Milan, who played at Monza all through pretty much the majority of last season. They added a few bits. The only issue I have with Cremonese is apart from a few individualities, who can pull this team and who can make this team go on a run and avoid relegation. You know, to avoid relegation, you need to get some heavy points. And I just can't see Cremonese getting many heavy points throughout the season, which puts them 20th for me. No disrespect. I know that they've been playing in the first division of Italian football quite often in pretty much last seasons. I remember they played against us 2 years ago, and then they eliminated us from the Coppa Italia the same season. So maybe they are a bit more experienced than usual, but I'm going with Cremonese's 20th. Moving into 19th, I'm going with Pisa, another newly promoted team. I think first thing with Pisa is experience. They haven't been playing in the Serie A since a very long while. It's their first time back after a long while, so they need to get their heads around this. It's a big step. It's a big reality jump. You know, everyone was excited about Pisa in the Serie B last season, and I saw a lot of hype around them, and they deserved all the hype, but unfortunately the reality checks are very different from second division Serie B to first division Serie A. And apart from Quadrado, which is a finished player, they didn't add much quality, so no quality, no experience. I think they're going down. 18th, I'm going with Lecce. Yes, I don't think we will have a 3 up, 3 down situation. I think Sassuolo stay up. We'll get to Sassuolo in a second. 18th, Lecce. Much of it depends on Kristovic, in my opinion, because I think if Kristovic stays, Kristovic knows how to solo this, and he will make Lecce save themselves again. I've got two issues with Lecce, however. Number one, as I just said, I'm not sure they're gonna keep Kristovic. Kristovic has said that he wants to leave. If the offer comes, they'll sell him. And if this Lecce team get rid of Kristovic, they're going nowhere. I'm sorry, but they were terrible last season. I don't know how they stayed up. Their only brink of light was Falcone in goal and Kristovic up front. If they sell Kristovic, you can't rely on a goalkeeper to stay up. You simply can't. They're not a good sign. Yes, they appointed Camarda if Kristovic leaves, but Camarda is a teenager. You know, you can't depend on Camarda to stay up. And my other thing, which I'm worried about Lecce, is Di Francesco. I love the man, but there's a curse around him. Every time he goes to a new team, he makes them go down. And this time around, he's at Lecce. I wouldn't be surprised if Lecce get relegated for this exact reason. He deserves better, but I'm sorry, everywhere he goes, he gets relegated. I think Lecce are going down. 17th, I'm going with Verona. I don't think Verona will have a good season. Suslov, literally 2 hours ago, their best player tore his ACL. And your best player tearing your ACL 1 week to go until the start of the league is crazily unlucky. I don't like Verona. I said this many times. There's something about Verona, about their stadium. It's a gloomy, rusty stadium. Their fans, fascist as hell. I don't like Verona. I hope they go down. I do think they will save themselves with a brink But they need to fight because they don't have a great side and their best player just got injured. 16th, I'm going with Parma. They lost Kivu and they lost Bonni and they lost Leoni. They lost the manager, which saved them. They lost their biggest striker, Bonni, and they lost arguably their most talented player, Leoni, to Liverpool. Good business from Parma. Look, they got, like 80 million total by selling both Bonni and the Leoni. These relegation teams, which generate so much money, means that they have a great youth setup or scouting department. And so I think to replace them, they will have identified some good talents, some good unknown players that will shine this season. I like Parma. I think they fought and they didn't deserve to go down last season when Kivu came. Kivu's gone. They need a bit of readapting. But if they keep concentrated, keep that fighting spirit up, I think they won't go down. So Parma 16th. 15th, I'm putting Sassuolo. Why don't I think that we will have a 3 up, 3 down situation in the bottom relegation teams? It's because Sassuolo were never a relegation side. You know, the season they got relegated, it was a surprise to everyone because Sassuolo don't have a relegation team. Sassuolo have arguably more quality than even the likes of Udinese and Genoa single-handedly with Berardi and Loriente. So Sassuolo don't belong to the relegation world. They don't. They completely dominated the Serie B last season. You can't get Berardi out of Sassuolo. Loriente's deal to Sunderland collapsed. They added Kone from Olympique Marseille to their midfield. They've got a good team. Now, of course, they can't aim for European spots, but they're not gonna risk relegation again, in my opinion. They're gonna save themselves. Plus, they know this league very well. And unlike Pisa and Cremonese, I can see Sassuolo getting some points against Roma or against Lazio or against Napoli, Inter Milan. They normally do have some sneaky wins against these big teams. So 15th for Sassuolo. 14th, Cagliari. I'm liking their business. They signed Esposito. I think Cagliari always have a good structure, a very good defense. They've got a great physical team. Piccoli, Esposito up front can be a good binomial. I think Cagliari will have a good season. 14th for Cagliari. Genoa 13th. Classic Genoa season. What do I really need to add? They've got their players that can win you the games against the low quality teams. They don't have that much quality to win games against big teams. But that difference will count at the end of the season, and they won't go down because they will get their points against the Pisas, the Lecces, the Cremoneses. Plus, they have a great home advantage. I think Genoa have a great fan base, so every time they play home, it's always tough to go there. So I'm gonna go Genoa 13th, and I'm gonna go Udinese 12th. Again, similar to Genoa, it's the Udinese position. Udinese got rejected by Axel Witsel a few days ago. They signed Walid Khedira. The only issue with Udinese is that they lost Toven, which I always saw as a finished player. But Udinese in recent times, he managed to play some very good games and score some very good goals. So I think, Udinese 12th and Torino 11th. Torino, I think, again, I've said this for the past two teams, it's the Torino position. But I think Torino this season have a good attack. Zapata back from his ACL, and they signed Simeone from Napoli. They've got Baroni as new manager. Of course, grabbed that experience with Lazio in the Europa League as well. Didn't go amazing. Of course, missed out on Europe. But you know what? I think Torino's attack is what will determine their position. It all depends there because defensively they're not amazing. They lost to Milinkovic-Savic in goal and they lost Ricci in the midfield as an equilibrator. So much of the Torino position depends on their attack. If Zapata stays fit, and if Simeone starts scoring goals and Che Adams locks in, that's a pretty good attack for a team like Torino. And it will grab the goals and it will get you the 3 points when you need them the most. So I'm going to go mid-table classic Torino. 10th is where I'll surprise you. Atalanta. Maybe it's because I'm a Roma fan, maybe it's because we lived the most depressing months with Ivan Juric, but if there are any Atalanta fans watching this, I advise you to prepare, like psychologically prepare for that man. He's not a good manager. They lost their friendly game against Cologne in Germany 4-0. They lost Retegui. They're going to lose Lookman. And even if he doesn't get sold, which I highly doubt, it's a war between Lookman and Atalanta. I highly doubt Lookman will be even reintegrated back in the team. I think the Atalanta downfall begins. I've always said this. I think what Atalanta became, the majority of it was because of Gasperini. Without Gasperini, it's interesting to test them. It's interesting to see where they actually belong without the Gasperini effect. And it's interesting to see, of course, the Juric decision is because apparently Juric, according to them, is similar to Gasperini. I don't find similarities at all. But they wanted to continue with this, similar Gasperini tactic football to not make the downfall so drastic. But they're in the Champions League as well. I think the Atalanta downfall begins. I'm sorry if I'm exaggerating, but I think Atalanta 10th. I'm not even joking. 9th, Como. You see, I'm very mixed with Como because I can see Como ahead of Fiorentina get 8th. I really can't see Como in Europe this season. Richest club in Italy, very interesting manager under the likes of Fabregas. Nico Paz signed Morata, adds a boost of experience. They've spent a lot of money. They've spent a fortune this summer that you'd kind of expect Como to at least fight for Europe. I know that this idea of Como fighting for Europe is still unrealistic to a lot of people because Como, newly promoted side, trust me, it won't be that unrealistic. Como will fight for Europe. Como have got a great project, a great philosophy, and a great idea of football. They know what to do with the manager. The manager knows what to do. They've got quality added with experience. The only reason I've put Como 9th is because I still think I'm kind of contradicting myself. I still think they won't make Europe. They won't make Europe this season, but it won't be far. Like if they continue with this trajectory, they will get Conference League next season, Europa League in a few seasons, and maybe even Champions League in a few seasons. Because now it's all about money, and one thing that they don't lack is money. But I'm gonna keep them 9th because I still think that in order to get Europe, Como needs at least 15 points against big teams, probably even more. And I just don't think they're ready to do that now, but they're very close, which is why I've put them so high. 9th for Como should be a great achievement. They should be very happy if it does actually happen. 8th, Fiorentina. Dzeko, deja vu. Ken is a bowler. They've added quality. I'm not a fan of Pioli, so I don't think they'll get higher than 8th for that. And also because this Conference League nightmare, can they win this Conference League once and for all? Surely this is their season. They'll want to end it. They'll want to win that trophy and end it there. So attention span in between both competitions, I'm going to put them 8th. Bologna 7th. I like Italiano, I rate them. I think what Bologna have done is intelligent because if they had a very good team, they sold Belkema and Doi, of course, but they've added experience. Immobile, Bernardeschi, so they can fight for the Europa League. They're in the Europa League as well. I like Bologna. I like their project. I like their manager. They won the Coppa Italia last season. Maybe they can do it again. I think Bologna get Conference League. Yes, I do. I'm going to put Lazio 6th. People will go, they haven't bought anyone because their transfer session is blocked because of illegal issues. I don't know, and I don't care. Why do you put them higher than last season if they added nobody? Because they added Sarri, and I think Sarri is way better than Baroni, more experienced than Baroni, is a better manager than Baroni. And the other most important thing is that they're playing in one competition this season because they're out of Europe. And Sarri with one game a week can cook. I would actually say, listen to this. If Lazio would have had a good unblocked transfer session, I would have put Lazio top 4. Because I think Sarri is great at these one game per week seasons. He always wanted them back when we had Mourinho as well. He always denigrated European competitions and wanted to get thrown out of them. I don't think they'll get higher than 6th because I don't think a lot of players are compatible with the way Sarri wants to play. But Lazio to get Europa League. 5th, Juventus. Yes. I can see Roma get 5th, but we need to get 4th. We've added a lot of players. We managed not to sell anyone up to now. I don't want to jinx it. We need to get 4th. I know that Gasperini needs time, but we need to get 4th. Juventus have added quality too. They have Bremer back from his ACL, which is a massive, crucial thing. Massively important. But I'm not a fan of Tudor. I'm really not. I don't think he's a great manager. And look, I might be biased. I'm going to put Roma 4th for the sake of this video as well. But I don't like Tudor. And I think the base of a team's season comes from their manager. Never been a fan. I think he's an Ivan Juric. He's a bit better than Juric, but he's an Ivan Juric 2.0. So I'm going to put Juve 5th. Roma 4th. Gasperini. We're linked with Sancho, Bailey. We managed to keep Kone. Soule's season. Dybala stays. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if we get 5th. I won't, because Gasperini needs time, and these players and these fans need to understand this, as we said multiple times. But we need to get Champions League football, and I just see a complete change of project with Ranieri, Massara and Gasperini. That this triangle of hope, this triangle is giving me a lot of hope. This trio is giving me a lot of aura, hope, and if we manage to get the likes of Sancho as well, we would have added a lot of squad depth as well. I know that one of the big objectives is the Europa League. And if we win the Europa League, we're in the Champions League automatically. We can also get 7th, I don't care. But I do think we'll get top 4. Something tells me we're going to get top 4 this season. And I'm going to stick with this optimism and positivism and keep my prediction as this. 3rd. Drumroll please. Inter. Yes, a lot of people still put Inter as favourites to win the league. Cycle is done. A lot of these players are mentally, physically, psychologically drained by Inzaghi's cycle. I think Inter needed to clear this summer. I think they've got a great team, don't get me wrong. They've got so much quality. But these players at the end of cycles normally break up. And that's my fear with Inter. I think that 5-0 defeat against PSG marked a lot in the heads of these players. Similar to what happened to us after Budapest. A cycle had ended. We had to sell a lot of players. We didn't. It looks like Lookman isn't joining. Kone isn't joining. They haven't added a lot of new, fresh names. They've added Boni, yes, but other than that, adding on to that, they've got a manager who's inexperienced. He can be great, very early to judge him, but he's inexperienced. We can all agree on this. So I don't see Inter competing for the league. I don't think they will compete for the league title, and I don't think they will win the league title. I'm going to put them 3rd this season. Something tells me that they're going to play this season with the ghosts of Munich. And it's never good. I know, because we played an entire season with the Budapest Ghosts. So, it's never good. Inter 3rd. 2nd, I've given it to Milan. AC Milan. A lot of people will look at me. What the hell did you just say? I stick with my prediction. You know what I think about Allegri? Allegri grinds. Allegri is not a great tactician, but he grinds and he brings your team to the Champions League. Milan have got quality. Now you will say and you will argue. One will say they lost Reinders. They lost Theo Hernandez. how do you see Milan? And they didn't replace them properly. And I agree, they lost quality. But the other factor which goes in their favour is that, similar to Lazio, they've got one game per week. That is where Allegri just emanates paradisiac waves. That's what Allegri wants. Focus on one objective up to January, then the Coppa Italia comes in. But from August to January, one objective. Start creating a gap. 1-0 wins. We don't care how we play as long as we win. And I think with this philosophy, they will get top 4. And I will dare to say that they'll get second. First, Napoli. I hate to say this. I feel despised and disgusted at putting Napoli first again. But how can't I not put Napoli first again? Conte. Number one, if you have Conte, you need to consider putting Napoli first, because Conte lives for the Serie A title. Some will say they've got Champions League football. I wouldn't be surprised if Conte gets eliminated on purpose from the Champions League if he understands that he wants to go all in and full in on the league title. They've added KDB, Noah Lang, Belkema in defence, Milinkovic. They've to Anguissa, Lukaku, all the players that they had last season, which was not league title material. Conte did a miracle. Now they've added so much experience and quality that they are league title material. And with a manager like Conte, you can only put them first. I hope to be wrong. I would love for Napoli to bottle a league title. You know me, I hate them. I despise them. But unfortunately, I don't see how they don't win this, lads and lasses. Guys, that's my 2025-2026 Serie A prediction. I want you to let me know your predictions in the comments from 20th to 1st. Everyone watching this, do your little list and I will read you, and I will read you, and I will read you again. Hit the like, subscribe. If we can have 200 likes on this video, it would be great. 5 days to go and Roma's back. 5 days to go and Calcio is back. I cannot wait. Buckle up. It's going to be great. We missed this so much. And happy Serie A week to everyone. And I will catch you soon. Simo out.